What's up, guys? Darkside Spencer here, and today I'm going to be doing a movie review for the movie Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Now, boy oh boy, do I have a story for this. Alright, so I read all three of the books. As far as my knowledge, there's three books. And I have always been a fan of the Scary Stories books. And they've always been just so creepy and just so unnerving that whenever I saw that this movie was being announced and Guillermo del Toro, is that how you say it, was going to be producing this film, immediately my ass was in the seat. He has always been known to direct or produce some of the scariest films that were just so abnormal that, like, they were just scary. I just don't know how else to put it. They were just scary. And I literally was pumped to see this movie. And I have a lot of mixed reactions about the film. I just got back from the movies. I went at 9:40 p.m. It was an early showing, early screening of the movie. And we didn't get out until about 11:40, something like that. I went with my brother, my parents, and one of my friends, and we walked out, all of us with mixed reactions. So, let's just get into it. Let's go ahead and start off with my positives on this movie. For me, I gotta admit that they did a really good job of adapting the film or the book into a film. However, if you go in expecting an anthology film, you're not going to get that. Because a lot of people thought it would be an anthology, and it's really not. It's centered around a subplot or an overarching plot about a particular person, and the film revolves around this person, and that's all I'm going to say, because I don't want to spoil it. So it's not like the books where it's sort of like an anthology. This movie is totally different. It has a set plot, and all these characters, all the creatures are molded into it. And I think they did a really good job of figuring out a way to sort of blend these characters in and not have it appear as just shoehorning. You know what I mean? They did a really good job of blending all these creatures that we've all grown and loved and read about throughout all the years, and that we've loved and just were scared by. You know what I mean? So I very much appreciate what they were going. There is a couple sequences where I feel like they had to switch it up a little bit between the actual books and like the stories of the books to the actual movie. I feel like they had to flip it a little bit, and that's not a bad thing, and sometimes adapting a source material is harder than it looks, and I understand that. Now, I gotta say, the directing and the cinematography the directing for me was pretty average, I gotta admit. And I don't really say that often about directing. Usually I'm one of those critics who basically say the directing was good. In this movie, I feel like the directing was okay. I feel like there were some areas where the nighttime scenes were a little bit too well lit, and then there were some scenes where I couldn't really see what was going on. However, it was still okay. And I don't know if this is their first time, Andre something, I don't remember the director's name, but if it's his like first or second film, I'm not going to blame him for that. I think it's a pretty good outing. And I think he did a really good job of making this story work. Now, the cinematography, there is a lot of scenes in this film where the cinematography really plays into the creepy factor. And I think that's really a lot. There's going to be a couple scenes where people are going to walk out like, damn, oh, just some of those shots were just fucking raunchy and bizarre and disturbing. Now, I'm not saying this movie is disturbing, and I'll get to that in my positives, but some of the cinematography was really well done, and it really helps with the creep factor. Now, the acting. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this. For teenage, maybe early teens to or young adult age, I don't really know the age of these actors. I think they're pretty average. They're pretty good in a lot of areas. They were good for what they were given, but I wouldn't expect more out of them, considering a couple of the characters, which I'll get into those, and also a little bit about the directing about it and the screenplay, the writing. They were good with what they were given. You know what I mean? Like I don't expect anything more from them. So I think they're pretty good. Now let's talk about the score. Now the score for this movie has a lot of string music, which a lot of directors are really like honing down on. They really like the string music nowadays. It's sort of like I wouldn't say it's a musical cliche now, but for the horror genre, it's becoming that where you know it's a horror film once you hear like you know what I mean, like with the violin, like I don't know if I did that right. It's probably gonna kill my microphone doing that, but with certain soundtracks or certain pieces of the score, where it's just tense string music. I think they did a really good job, and it was incorporated well into the final cut of the film. And it really heightened a lot of the scary scenes, a lot of the more disturbing and frightening scenes. And I think it was well placed. So I got to give it to the editing as well. They did a really good job editing this movie. There was a couple sequences where you could tell it's CGI, but it's good CGI. That is the one thing about this movie that I got to admit that I wasn't expecting much out of. Because I think this is a lower budget film. I don't know yet. The budget hasn't really been released from what I could tell. But I wasn't expecting this movie to get like $100 million to make a horror film. I was thinking something like 15 to maybe 5. And the CGI actually was really damn good. It was, there's a couple scenes with some of the creatures where you're like, all right, some of that's practical. Some of the scenes you're thinking, oh wow, that's pretty good practical effects, and then there's other scenes where you're like, that's some damn good CGI. It surprises you. There is something. It's in the trailer. It's probably the creepiest thing that's in the trailer. It's about a woman, and that's all I'm gonna say. Involving one other character. If you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about the red room. There is a couple scenes that were very disturbing in that scene, and I gotta admit, I don't want to hype it up for you guys, and I don't want to spoil it, but the way that sequence was shot, and written, angled, score, edited, it was fucking top notch. If the whole movie was like that, holy fuck, I'd be literally 10 out of 10 in this bitch, but I'm not, and I'll get to that right now in my negatives. So, what don't I like about this movie? About scary stories to tell in the dark? Well, I feel like the characters are sort of forgettable. They didn't land with me, and that's not really to do with the performances of these actors. I feel like they did pretty good for what they were given. However, I feel like these characters, I kind of see them as not being franchise worthy. What I mean by that is, I don't see myself following these characters, and I don't believe the friendship. You know what I mean? Like, this movie, it sort of starts off with us kind of assuming that they were good friends. But, like, to me, whenever there was some big deaths, it felt like they didn't really give a fuck. Like, they didn't give a rat's ass about a character. Maybe a tear or two, and then they just keep going. To me, that's not really realistic. I didn't feel the dread or the grief aspect of the film, especially in some of the areas they decided to go. I feel like that they didn't harp on the emotions as much as they should have, and that's to do with the directing. That's why I said the directing was okay. I just felt with a movie like this that's not an anthology like I was expecting, they should have really fucking blew us out of the park with that. In terms of the emotions and the relationships of these characters. There is a character that is kind of a bully, and basically I felt like he was stupid, and I feel like his actor was trying, or he was being directed to be overly psychotic in the film, which you later find out why he was acting a certain way. I just felt like it was sort of unneeded. It was just sort of strange. But that, in that aspect, I feel like the characters could have been a little bit more drawn out and a little bit thought out more. I don't know, rather, I'm trying to figure out a right way of saying that, but they could have been, they could have went back to the editing room, in terms of the writing and the screenplay, and been like, how can we fix this, or just do a reshoot, because some of these parts were just, I don't know, I just didn't feel it, you know what I mean? This is the one part of this review that I'm going to get a little bit controversial. You guys know, it's every damn review, there's something I'm doing that's fucking controversial. I feel that this movie didn't live up to the hype of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And what I mean by that is, this movie is very, very fast-paced, and you don't feel the dread and the deep sadness that you feel in the books, the scariness. And a lot of the scenes, the movie was just all about figuring out a way to get to the next scare. And in the books, it wasn't really like that. It was a building tension. And then that tension was delivered upon with a good scare or something grotesque or disturbing. This was more of like waiting for the next big thing to happen, and you didn't feel any tension. You were just like, all right, come on. Like, there was points in this movie, like, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, I was pretty disinterested in the movie probably within the first 10 minutes of the film, because nothing was happening. The movie at first seems like it's sort of trying to be like a Stranger Things It vibe. It's trying to go back into that, and with a group of kids, but you find out that this movie is based in an entirely different time period, and to be honest, I just feel that this time period doesn't work for Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I feel like the books didn't need a time period, because I feel like the stories are timeless. So I don't really see why they had to incorporate a certain plot or a certain message, because there's something with Nixon in it that really I don't see what the point of it was. If you guys can figure it out, if you've seen the movie, please tell me in the comment section. I didn't see a point of why there was references to Nixon in this movie. I just don't like the characters. Like, I just don't understand why all the characters they didn't feel believable to me. It's not due to the performances, just to the writing. The script of this film is something awful. Like, they missed the mark on this one. However, the movie is still good. The scares are really good. And if this movie had a bad editing team and a worse director, even though I think that the director is pretty average, it's nothing like It. It's not, it's nothing It-wise, like It margin, or in the ballpark of It. I think, the writing, was the one thing that I feel like brought the movie down a lot. But if they didn't have an average director, a good damn editing team, and some decent actors, this movie would have been a 0 out of 10. However, they had those things, and I feel that the only thing that kept this movie down, for me, from giving it a better score, is because it just felt that the writing was just mediocre. I don't know the right way to put it without being offensive. I felt like the writing and this movie tried to be like a horror comedy, and because there's a lot of comedic, elements to the jokiness of the characters, and I just feel like it didn't jive well with what Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, the books, were about. The comedic effect in this movie wasn't really. It's not what you put into a book series that is all about dread and like disturbing images and creepy atmospheres and all that good stuff that we all loved as kids. the comedy in this movie, if you took that out, this movie would probably be better for it. Now, my friend actually laughed a couple times at it. Me, personally, I was just like, and, I just felt like it was unneeded. So, yeah, I think the writing could have, it could have been a lot better movie if the writing, the screenplay of this film was a lot better. Only I noticed. No one has noticed this yet, but look at the fucking cuts. There's one shot where Harold is gone, and the next shot, he's fucking there. And then, like, they keep doing that. They keep flipping shots, cutting back and forth, and I'm like, do you guys not see this? Like, did you guys even watch the fucking movie before you released it? I just don't see how that could slip through the cracks. But then again, they were probably trying to get it done, so I kind of understand. However, I feel like they missed the mark with that one. All in all, guys, I really enjoyed this movie. However, I feel like it was just an average summer flick, a creature feature, really. It was just, a monster creature feature, really. I just felt like this movie was a tad... I think it didn't bite enough of the stories off into its screenplay, and I feel like they tried to use too much comedy. To me, this movie should have been at least 5 to 7 stories. Instead, we only got 4 or 5 stories, something like that. And I feel like they're just setting it up for a sequel to make more money. However, I think if this movie does get another movie, like another sequel, or a sequel to this movie, it better be good, because they left this movie at a weird point, and I'm not going to say anything else, but I'm just going to go ahead and say this. They set it up for a sequel, just in case. And I feel like I believe in these filmmakers to make a better movie next time. I feel like they did good with what they were given. That's all I'm going to say. Now, on a rating out of 10, I'll probably give this movie about a 6 out of 10. It's better than average, but it's not... I'm probably going to go ahead and say this. I'm probably going to pick it up in the $5 bin. Now, that kind of betrays... My fucking light turned off. That sort of betrays what... that shit's going to piss me off. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I would put it in the $5 bin. I would pick it up then and see if you like it. Or, if you want to, go see it at a matinee. I would not buy this movie on Blu-ray. I feel like this movie is a one and done. However, I think it's scary enough, and it's a good rewatch to go pick out little clues and all that stuff. And just for some of the scenes and effects, I recommend going out and watching it. So yeah, it's a 6 out of 10, and that's all I can say about Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. A long-awaited film of mine. It is the second to last film I was anticipated for this year. The last film that I'm going to be reviewing is It Chapter 2. Now, that is my last opening night theater movie review like this is. I will still be doing movie reviews for older films. However, that's my last one, I think, unless I see something good, that I'll be reviewing on opening night, like you guys have been kind of accustomed to, because I've been going to the movies pretty often. So yeah, hopefully we can kind of bridge you guys over to my other movie reviews. I just reviewed Logan. Just go ahead and click on my channel and go check that movie review out. I think I rated it pretty fair. It's probably my highest rating for a film I've done yet. And I just feel like this year, it's been a weird year. There's been good movies and there's been bad movies. But like most of the bad movies, they have good elements in them. They just could have been improved upon. You know what I mean? Like this movie could have. But I'm banking on It Chapter 2. If It Chapter 2 isn't an 8 out of 10, I'm literally going to go portray Pennywise myself. And I'll show them how the fuck it's done. I will literally develop a smoker's cough so I can bring fucking Tim Curry's Pennywise back to that damn screen. and show them how the fuck it's done. It Chapter 2 better be fucking godly. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed this movie review. I don't know when my next video is after this. We're trying to get He's Coming done. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this movie review, and I love you guys to death. Thank you guys for staying with me on this journey. And guess what, guys? We actually hit 200 subscribers 2 days ago. We're currently at 200 subscribers, so I can't thank you guys enough. That is insane. I couldn't have done it without you guys. You know what I mean? Like, 200. Damn. Finally. You guys just don't know how much it means to me, because I've been making videos for like 10 years on YouTube, and I haven't taken off. And seeing some growth really has made the cast and I very happy. So I really appreciate it. Leave a comment down in the comment section below and let us know what you think about our direction and this new direction, this new path that we're leading. So yeah, guys, I love you guys to death. Thank you guys for that 200 subscribers. I'll see you guys next time, alright?